Okay, so, my gosh, this shirt is not cooperating. I know, I'm finally reading part 3. So this is just, part 3 is only 4 pages, so we're starting on, I'm going to try and make this quick, because it's like 9 o'clock at night, but we're starting page 82, chapter 5, sorry, it just smells like book, so ignore the freaking, ignore it. Anyways, we were at the parking lot now, so I angled toward my truck. Something caught my jacket and yanked me back half a step. "Where are you going?" she asked, surprised. Her little hand had a fistful of my jacket. She didn't look like she'd even planted her feet. For a second, I couldn't answer. She denied being a superhero, but my mind couldn't seem to frame it any other way. It was like Supergirl had left her cape at home. I wondered if it was supposed to bother me that she was so much stronger than I was. But I hadn't been insecure about things like that for a long time. Ever since I'd outgrown my bullies, I'd been fairly well satisfied. Sure, I'd like to be coordinated, but it didn't bother me that I wasn't good at sports. I didn't have time for them anyway, and they'd always seemed to be childish. Why get so worked up about a bunch of people chasing a ball around? I was strong enough that I could make people leave me alone, and that was all I wanted. So this small girl was stronger than I was. A lot. But I was willing to bet she was stronger than everyone else I knew, kids and adults alike. She could take Schwarzenegger in his prime. I couldn't compete with that. And if I messed up that name, I'm so sorry. But, I couldn't compete with that, and I didn't need to. She was special. "Bo?" she asked, and I realized I hadn't answered her question. What? I asked you where you were going? Home. Or am I not? Her expression confused me. She smiled. "Didn't you hear me promise to take you home safely? Do you think I'm going to let you drive in your condition?" "What condition?" "Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you have a weak vasovagal system." "I think I'll survive," I said. I tried to take another step toward my truck, but her hand didn't free my jacket. I stopped and looked down at her again. "Okay, why don't you tell me what you want me to do?" Her smile got wider. Very sensible. Very sensible. "You're going to get into my car, and I am going to drive you home." I've 2 issues with that. 1, it's not necessary, and 2, what about my truck? 1, necessary is a subjective word, and 2, I'll have Archie drop it off after school. I was distracted by the casual reminder that she had siblings. Strange, pale, beautiful siblings. Special siblings? Special like her? "Are you going to put up a fuss?" she asked when I didn't speak. "Is there any point in resisting?" Sorry. I tried to decipher all the layers to her smile, but I didn't get very far. "It warms my cold heart to see you learning so quickly. This way." She dropped her fistful of jacket and turned. I followed her willingly. The smooth roll of her hips was as hypnotic as her eyes, and there wasn't a downside to getting more time with her. The inside of the Volvo was just as pristine as the outside. Instead of the smell of gasoline and tobacco, there was just a faint perfume. It was almost familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Whatever it was, it smelled amazing. As the engine purred quietly to life, she played with a few dials, turning the heat on and the music down. "Is that Claire de Lune?" I asked. She glanced at me, surprised. "You're a fan of Debussy?" I shrugged. My mom plays a lot of classical stuff around the house. I only know my favorites. It's one of my favorites, too. Well, I imagine that, I said. We have something in common. I expected her to laugh, but she only stared out through the rain. I relaxed I relaxed against the light gray seat, responding automatically to the familiar melody because I was mostly watching her from the corner of my eye. The rain blurred everything outside the window into gray and green smudges. It took me a minute to realize we were driving very fast. The car moved so smoothly I didn't feel the speed. Only the town flashing by gave it away. What's your mother like? She asked me suddenly. Her butterscotch eyes studied me curiously while I answered. She kind of looks like me. Same eyes, same hair, same color hair. But she's short. She's an extrovert. And pretty brave. She's also slightly eccentric. A little irresponsible and a very unpredictable cook. She was my best friend. I stopped. It made me depressed to talk about her in the past tense. How old are you, Beau? Her voice sounded frustrated for some reason. I couldn't imagine. The car stopped and I realized we were at Charlie's house already. The rain had really picked up so heavy now that I could barely see the house. It was like the car was submerged into a vertical river. I'm 17, I said, a little confused by her tone. You don't seem 17, she said. It was like an accusation. I laughed. What? She demanded. My mom always says I was born 35 years old and that I get more middle-aged every year. I laughed again and then sighed. Well, someone has to be the adult. I paused for a second. You don't seem much like a junior in high school either. She made a face and changed the subject. Why did your mother marry Phil? I was surprised that she remembered Phil's name. I was sure I'd only said it once, almost 2 months ago. It took me a second to answer. My mom, she's very young for her age. I think Phil makes her feel even younger. Anyway, she's crazy about him. Personally, I didn't see it, but did anyone ever think anyone was good enough for his mom? Do you approve? She asked. I shrugged. I want her to be happy, and he's who she wants. That's very generous. I wonder. What? Would she extend the same courtesy to you, do you think? No matter who your choice was? Her eyes were suddenly intent, searching mine. I think so, I stuttered. But she's the adult, on paper at least. It's a little different. Her face relaxed. No one too scary then, she teased. I grinned back. What do you mean by scary? Tattoos and facial piercings? That's one definition, I suppose. What's your definition? She ignored me and asked another question. Do you think I could be scary? She raised one eyebrow. I pretended to examine her face for a minute, just as an excuse to stare at her, my favorite thing to do. Her features were so delicate, so symmetrical. Her face would stop anyone in his tracks, but it wouldn't make him run in the other direction, the opposite. It's kind of hard to imagine that, I admitted. She frowned to herself. But I mean, I'm sure you could be if you wanted to. She tilted her head and gave me an exasperated smile, but didn't say anything else. So are you going to tell me about your family? I asked. It's gotta be a much more interesting story than mine. She was instantly cautious. What do you want to know? The Colons adopted you? Yes. I hesitated for a minute. What happened to your parents? They died many years ago. Her tone was matter of fact. I'm sorry. I don't really remember them clearly. Corinne and Ernest have been my parents for a long time now. And you love them. It wasn't a question. It was obvious in the way she said their names. Yes, she smiled. I can't imagine two better people. Then you're very lucky. I know it. And your brother and sister? She glanced at the clock on the dashboard. My brother and sister and Jessamine and Royal, for that matter, are going to be quite upset if they have to stand in the rain waiting for me. Oh, sorry, I guess you have to go. It was stupid, but I didn't want to get out of the car. And you probably want your truck back before Chief Swan gets home. before Chief Swan gets home and you have to explain about the syncopial episode. She was good with the medical jargon. But then her mother was a doctor. I'm sure he's already heard. There's no secrets in forks, I grumbled. Apparently I'd said something funny, but I couldn't guess what it was, or why there was an edge to her laughter. Have fun at the beach, she said when she finished. Good weather for sunbathing. She gestured to the sheeting rain. Well, I see you tomorrow. No, Eleanor and I are starting the weekend early. What are you going to do? A friend could ask that, right? I hope she couldn't hear the disappointment in my voice. We'll be hiking the Goat Rocks Wilderness, just south of Rainier. Oh, sounds fun. She smiled. Will you do something for me this weekend? She turned to look me straight in the eyes, her own burning in their hypnotic way. I nodded, helpless. Anything, I could have said, but it wouldn't have been true. Don't be offended, but you seem to be one of those people who just attract accidents like a magnet. Try not to fall into the ocean or get run over by anything, all right? She flashed her dimples at me, which took away some of the sting of being called incompetent. I'll see what I can do, I promised. I jumped into the vertical river and ran for the porch. By the time I turned around, the Volvo had disappeared. Oh! I clutched my jacket at the pocket, remembering I'd forgotten to give her my key. The pocket was empty. And that is... Oh, wow, that was a really short reading. But I'm not gonna go into chapter 6, because that's gonna be just more typing for the title and in the description. But that's part 3 of chapter 5. Since the reading wasn't too long, I guess I can post it. But anyway. I'm so tired. I need to check the time. Should I do... Okay, I know I'm not very popular, but should I do, like, a Q&A sort of thing? Like, oh, wow. Should I do, like, a Q&A video? Y'all ask me a bunch of questions, then I answer them in a video. That's what a Q&A video is, but should I do a Q&A video, and should I do a Q&A video with a friend? That'll probably be a different thing. But for now, in the chat, in the comments for this video, just tell me whether or not I should do a Q&A, and I'll make a post asking for questions for a Q&A. Don't put the questions for a Q&A in the comments of this video, because that's going to be a lot of comments to read in this post, in the comments of this video. So I'll just make a post asking for Q&A questions, and when I'm making the video, I'll read the questions off my phone. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good night or day. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.